The Mariners are transforming T-Mobile Park into Seattle's hottest karaoke club for Sing-Along Fireworks Night. Don't miss an incredible post-game show this Friday presented by T-Mobile after the team squares off against the Guardians at 7:10.
He does it again! Home runs in 3 consecutive games. Cal Raleigh, the big dumper.
It's your chance to belt your heart out on the big stage to chart-topping hits and feel-good throwbacks. Fireworks and Mariners baseball. That's 2 spectacular shows in one unforgettable night.
Strike 3 call. Triple digits to end it and complete the sweep.
Visit mariners.com/fireworks to get your tickets and see the complete lineup of Mariners fireworks nights this summer, including a patriotic palooza on July 3rd and an 80s show on July 18th. Plus, check out everything else on deck at T-Mobile Park, including a Father's Day socks giveaway this Sunday thanks to Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners have recalled Logan Evans. He gets the start tonight. Game 2 against the Diamondbacks, 6:40 first pitch. We have pregame coverage beginning at 5:30 right here on Seattle Sports. And in a corresponding move, Bryce Miller has been placed on the IL with right elbow inflammation, the same injury that put him on the IL earlier this season. Seahawks have signed Michael Dixon to a 4-year, $16.2 million contract extension. He's now the highest paid punter in the NFL, under contract through 2029. You have a number of star players holding out at NFL minicamps around the country, including Jalen Ramsey, TJ Watt, Trey Hendrickson, and Terry McLaurin.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Mike Lefko and Dave Wyman here with you at the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. Day 1 of Seahawks minicamp. Sounds like it is just about to wrap up, so we will have Boye Mafe coming in to join us here on set. It's going to be fun to talk to Boye, a veteran now. Dave, I think you got to give him that label. He's a guy going into his 4th year on this team. Isn't that crazy to think about?
I was going to say 3rd.
No, I know.
Honestly.
It's 4th. It's year 4 already.
Oh, my gosh.
That's how old we are. Just time flies by. And all of a sudden, these rookies that we remember coming in, they're vets. He is an established guy on this defense. But, yeah, part of that 2022 class that now it is a pivotal final year of their rookie contracts. So it's going to be interesting to see Boye Mafe in year 2 of this defense and year 4 for him. But, yeah, I mean, we'll talk about our mini camp observations because we did see a good chunk of stuff happening out there. They're wrapping up right now. But isn't it kind of crazy to think that 2022 draft class so instrumental in getting this team back, getting them to a playoff spot that year when they were drafted? Now there are decisions to make. You know, guys like Abe Lucas and Ken Walker and Boye Mafe and Reek Wolhen, and we keep rattling off all these names. There are a lot of guys that were instrumental to building this team back up, and now you have decisions to make.
Yeah. I mean, and we'll see who ends up, who they end up re-signing and how they value these guys. But yeah, I think Boye, I thought he was going to have maybe a little bit more of like numbers. I thought he had a great year, but I thought his sack numbers were gonna go up and everything. And and that doesn't mean he played poorly. It was just that I love watching Boye, and I think the main reason is because, especially like during his rookie year, he just was so steady as far as improvement. Like every game he got better and better and better, and you'd see something happen in one game and like, that was a mistake, and then you'd see him fix it, and he's just very thoughtful player and an incredible athlete. So yeah, I mean, I think, you can't have enough pass rushers. I know that's what John Schneider always says. And, he's kind of a combination of, and I remember when they had Darrell Taylor here, I thought he was more of a just, he had a lot of pass rush moves. And then you got a guy like Derek Hall, who's just pure power. Same thing with Uchenna. And I thought Boye was kind of a blend of those two. Like and that's what you want. You want a repertoire where the tackle or whoever's blocking you doesn't know if you're going to try to run them over or put a move on them. And that's the best type of pass rusher. So to me, he's the best pass rusher on the team.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. And, it was interesting to watch him out there today. When all these guys go through their individual drills, for most of the early portion of minicamp, you're doing special teams, receivers are catching balls out to the side. But the edge rushers and the defensive linemen, they really get to work. They're hitting the sleds, they're doing drills there. And watching Boye Mafe kind of intersperse between first DeMarcus Lawrence and then Derek Hall, as you were mentioning, the three of those as those kind of key edge rusher guys, and just seeing how they interacted with each other. There was some friendly competitiveness. And then Boye Mafe was also getting a little bit of coaching from Lawrence and from Leonard Williams. So to see that experience, you're talking about a defensive line all of a sudden where you brought in DeMarcus Lawrence, and Leonard Williams is the key cog in all of that, and now Boye Mafe is becoming more of that veteran as well. So
you bring up something.
I like the depth on there.
Yeah, and you bring up something I think is interesting, and a lot of people don't talk about it, but you said how they're kind of sharing information. And,
yeah.
There was a couple of guards that got on the All 50 team for the Seahawks, Brian Millard and Edwin Bailey. And during practice, those guys taught me so much. It's kind of like a hitter going to the pitcher and saying, hey, how would you pitch me in this and that? And I just remember particularly Brian Millard, would tell me different things, and we would talk, and then every once in a while he'd go, he'd say, that was a good move. And you'd be like, oh, yeah. But, I mean, that very, very much does go on out at practice. And when you have guys that are that tight and they exchange information and things like that, it just makes you better and better. So I so appreciated Edwin Bailey and Brian Millard because, it's kind of a little game in there. It's like, it's not super complicated or anything, but it's like, okay, do I run this guy over or do I try to put a move on him, and how do I set him up and things like that. And so that kind of information is just priceless. So yeah, I'm glad you saw that, happening with those guys out there, because everybody's got a different style, and, especially having DeMarcus Lawrence come in here from another team. And I think it's that's really interesting. And that's when you have a good team, when guys are out there talking and sharing information.
Well, my first observation about DeMarcus Lawrence was he is wearing number 0. That was strange to see him wearing that. And then I noticed how they were working together. But that's the first thing that jumped out, honestly, is 0. That number. Yeah, on a defensive guy, on an edge rusher, it does really jump out at you because Lawrence cuts such a big presence. He was wearing the visor out there. He's on the edge, so you can really see just how big he is. But, yeah, the way all those guys were working together was one of the more fascinating parts that I kind of picked up on. We kind of missed the end of the team portion, so we saw a little bit of that as we were coming in. Yeah. But they were getting into the 11-on-11, so be curious to hear how that went with Boye. But, and like you said, I'm curious to know who he then talks to on the other side of the ball. Since you were talking to those guards, I wonder who on offense he picks their brain and who he learns from about his moves and what to counter and
I'm
all
sure
that.
Charles Cross and Abe Lucas, but I mean, it was interesting to watch how I'm just blown away with Mike McDonald's practices. There's so much talking out there on the field, and they're going through things, and it's just a different style. And I'm not saying one is better than the other. I happen to like this one better, but they take their time out there. And for Pete, it was just reps, and then we'll go look at it on film. Whereas Mike McDonald is just, we're going to correct it here on the field. And, you just see a lot of downtime in that regard. But I think Pete was like, okay, we're wasting opportunities. Let's, get as many reps as we can, and we can fix it on film. Whereas here with Mike McDonald, it's like, we're going to fix things on the field. And it's just a matter of preference, but I really like that part. There's not the blaring music, and and look, I think Pete liked to practice with a lot of juice, and he wanted enthusiasm and things like that. But I think for Mike McDonald, and I remember before the Seahawks hired Mike McDonald, I remember talking to John Schneider, and he said, we want teachers. We want a teacher here, and those are the kinds of coaches that we want. And that's one of the reasons why they kept Carl Scott, who's a defensive back coach, because he's just amazing. If you ever look up on the internet, there's the
teaching video. I think
it was some kind of a coach's clinic or something, and he was up, and there was a video running, and he's explaining everything, and just an amazing guy from that standpoint. And like, he was just spitting the words out. It was like so second nature to him. So those are the kind of guys that they have here. John Benton, and he has a different style. I told you that he's out there going, that's not even close. He's walking around going, no, yes, this is better. That's not even close. So he's doing all that stuff out on the field, and it's just interesting. It's a different philosophy, but it also is one that I think makes sense.
So it sounds like practice just wrapped up. We will have Boye Mafe in here any minute. We'll talk to him about that defense, about DeMarcus Lawrence and working with Mike McDonald, everything that you just mentioned there. Anything else kind of stand out to you at minicamp today? I know that you and Bob got the opportunity the past couple of weeks to be out here at OTAs. So kind of just, the culmination of the past few weeks, what has really stood out? Outside of what you just mentioned, obviously, but anything else that's jumped out to you?
Yeah, watching the offensive line, and I was making a comment out there to Dave Pearson that there's lots of drills that they do that I don't ever remember seeing. And I mentioned fumble recoveries from offensive linemen, which that's going to happen. So you might as well prepare for it. I mean, obviously it's a negative thing, but, we don't want to be fumbling. But, there's lots of times where you'll see offensive linemen pounce on the ball, and the ball comes spurting out and goes everywhere. And so, just there's a way to pick up a fumble. It's almost like you slide next to it and then cradle the ball. And so, I saw them working on that. But then this wide zone concept, which I think is going to be really effective if they, can perfect it. But I saw these drills where the offensive linemen are just almost sprinting like sideways. So, I got it.
Yeah.
So
making sure we have all the best for Boye Mafe here as he comes and joins us on set.
Is OC your guy? Is that? Yeah, that's your guy. Okay.
We'll let him get the headset on there.
There we go. Yeah, O'Connell. He's your guy, huh?
Yes, sir.
You hear us all right, Boye?
Oh, can you hear me though?
Yeah.
Yes.
Dang, my head looks fine.
No, we're on right now. It's okay. Everyone can hear you.
Oh, no.
No, hey, take a drink. We'll let you settle in here for a second. Dave and I were just kind of talking about what we saw out there from you guys, day one of minicamp. For you, it's year 4, going into year 4, but year 2 under Mike McDonald. So what's it like now, having had that full offseason and now year 2 here under Coach McDonald?
I feel like the biggest thing I've noticed is, it slows down. Year 1 with Mike, we're getting a feel for him. He's getting a feel for us, understanding how we operate, how he operates. But going into year 2 now, I feel like we're all, your feet are settled. You understand what's going on. You understand how he operates. We understand how we operate. So I feel like now the familiarity, getting comfortable with each other and understanding what's going on is the biggest thing I've noticed.
That's a good one. Instead of saying familiarity, you just go a different way.
Oh yeah.
Instead of that was very
very
good.
Sometimes.
You could be
a veteran move.
You could be a radio guy.
One day, what I'm saying?
Dave does that a lot. So.
Hey, so tell us what's different. I was saying that, like, I've seen a lot of things out there, like offensive linemen. There was a drill where they were recovering fumbles. I don't think I've ever seen that, Boye. And it just. There's lots of things that watching that wide zone, as far as the offensive linemen, and they're almost like sprinting to the side. I mean, I've seen lots of things that I've never seen before, and it just seems like Pete Carroll was more of like a rep guy, just get as many reps as you can, and just loud music and all that stuff. And then it seems like these are more like it's a classroom out there. Is there a difference as far as how you guys are practicing?
Yeah, I definitely understand what you mean by that. I feel like for us, it's like you said, you have to teach yourself the game. You have to understand situations. If you're just playing football, you're just playing the game. But there's situations in football that you have to be ready for, aware of.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't just tell a guy to go out there and just run the ball.
Right.
You got to know, well, it's 2nd and 5. It's 3rd and 2. There's different situations that need different things. How much time is on the clock? Do we need to stay in bounds or get out of bounds? So I feel like the thing is that we've really took a lot of time to focus on and hone in on is those situations and knowing and being prepared for those situations. When you're prepared for those situations, instead of being frantic, you're calm, cool, and collected. I've been here before. I've done this before. I know what it's like.
Boye, how much have you gotten to know DeMarcus Lawrence since he's gotten here, and what have you learned from watching someone like him who has played this game at a high level for a long time?
I definitely learned a lot. Obviously talking to him and obviously getting to know him as a person and know him on the field, and I'm seeing that, where that whole high energy mentality is coming from. And obviously there's a lot of things that he's teaching me and I'm learning and just really sitting here and understanding, with someone who has that many years in the NFL, there's a lot of things they've learned. There's a lot of things that they know. You know what I'm saying? It's a different game. They're playing a different game. So, taking in as much as I can and understanding what I can, take from him and use into my own repertoire and add to my own toolbox.
What about guys on the other side of the ball? I was an inside backer, so, me and the guards, I would kind of communicate with, like, hey, what about this move? Or, and we'd kind of share information. Do you do that with, like, Charles?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Because I feel for me, and my mindset is that if I'm not asking them, then I don't understand, because I want to know what their mentality is. Why do they move the way they do? Why do they make their sets? Why do they do all these type of things? So I feel like iron sharpens iron. At the end of the day, if you're not doing that, then you're holding yourself a disservice.
Yeah.
So is that you going and seeking them out, or how do you guys kind of merge together? Because, you're broken into position groups, you have so many meetings, you're not always on the same schedule. When do you find time to kind of go talk to them and pick their brains?
There's a lot of time depending between even in game, like even in practice.
Okay.
If a play happens and if something happens, I'll look and be okay, how did you do that, or why did you do that? Or even after practice, when the locker room's just changing, hey, so when you did this, why, what was this, what was going on, or what was your mindset with it, or did you see what happened with this? So just having those conversations, so every situation that you go to, if he wins a rep or if I win a rep, we're asking each other, what was your mindset? What did you do? For sure.
Yeah, Boye, do you go into a season with goals as far as like sack totals and things like that, or is it just kind of like I'm going to play as hard as I can and the plays will come to me? How do you, when you go into a season, do you have like some numbers or generally what you want to do or what you want to accomplish the next season?
I feel like for me, I don't really like to put a number or goals on things.
Right.
You don't know what's going to happen. If you sit there and worry about a goal, you may never reach it. But if you tell yourself I just want to be better than I was yesterday, over time, you'll start to crescendo. As long as you're always trying to strive to get better, I feel like I had a coach who used to tell me this. He had a saying, and he was like, people always wonder why the ball finds certain people. But he always used to say it doesn't find them, they prepared.
Right.
And they took the time, they took the effort to make sure that when the moment came, they're just in the right spot.
Boy, a lot of the things coaches told me you can't repeat on air. But that was back in the 80s and 90s.
Sounds like they're more yelling at you and just coaching Boye up. So maybe it's evolved a little bit. But it's funny, Boye, we were talking, Dave and I, before we got in here, about your 2022 class, how now year 4, it just feels like it's flown by. Do you feel like a veteran? Does it still feel like things are new for you? Or how do you feel now going into year 4 in the league?
I think I just got in like a month ago. I don't know what you mean. Like, I feel like I got here a month ago. I remember.
Just heard your name being called.
You know what I'm saying? Year 4 is crazy. To think about it now, to look back, time has flying. I thought about it when I came in. Even to this day, I still talk about the guys like, man, look at us. We're all still here. We're all still playing together. And the fact is that we all came in together, and we think about it like this. It's like, man, it's a testament to us, the work. And I remember like it was yesterday when we were rookies and we all were looking at each other and we had meetings and as rookies and talking to each other. And we all looked at each other and told ourselves like, hey, we got to make sure we're ready for it. What's going to happen is going to happen, but just put your foot down and work. And now that I look up and I look around, I think it shocked me is when the young guys started asking me for advice. I was confused.
You still feel like a rookie. Yeah. Well, physically, that would be a good thing. So Charles Cross, yourself, Kenneth Walker, Abraham Lucas, Kobe Bryant, Reek Woolen. You got sounds like kind of a bond with those guys with your draft class.
For sure. All of us. We're all still really close, really tight. We've been here for 4 years together now, and it's one of those things like we've seen everything with each other. Our whole careers have been together. So
Yeah. Hey, what's been different this year running this offense 2 years in a row? It's always, different when, the first year and you're kind of having to think too much. Is it kind of second nature now for you? How is it kind of a relief?
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely, I feel like after a year in, going into year two, that you get into that familiar, the comfortability of what's going on, and I feel like that honestly makes you play faster.
Right.
Once you get comfortable, once you know what's going on. So I look at it as like it's like you said, it's the relief of like, all right, we're in the comfortable area right now. Right. So we know what's going on. Let's go out there and have fun. And then you can take that next level, graduate to Algebra 2.
Right.
Boy, last year, you had a sack on your now quarterback, Sam Darnold. I don't know if that's what you brought up the first time you met him, but how did that introduction go when you first got to talk to Sam? And did you say, hey, remember when I sacked you last year?
No, we didn't have that conversation. I'm going to wait till he makes me mad to bring that one up. But
have you got a chance to kind of talk to him, though, a little bit and get to know him?
Yeah, of course. Obviously walking to the locker room and, team meetings and stuff, just talking to him. He seems like a great guy. You enjoy having him around. I feel like he's going to be a great presence for the locker room. One of those guys you can really, rally behind and root for. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to have somebody like that in the building.
Again, as a linebacker, I watched like that wide zone that you guys are running on offense, and it looks really difficult because I just remember, I remember Boomer Esiason was one of those guys that they would run that wide zone, and then, he would pull the ball and then play action. I mean, it's really tough on linebackers. What have you noticed about the offense? Has it been noticeable how different it is? And, is it more difficult? It just looks very effective to me.
Yeah, I definitely agree to that standpoint. You're putting the defense in a lot of stress. When you're front loading the play like that, there's a lot of options. You're giving the running back lanes. And I feel like that's the biggest thing I understand or what I've seen is like you give them a chance to give the ball and let the running back do what they do. Right. You have options to decide whatever you want to do on the play.
Well, and the gaps are bigger out there, right?
Exactly. So you have that space to, make something happen.
Right.
How has it been working with Ernest Jones now for kind of, again, like a full off season because he came right in the middle of the year, really helped the defense turn around. What's it been like now getting everyone back on the field and working with him out there?
I feel like it's great. I liked Ernest before he even got here. Me and Ernest worked out in L.A. One of my off seasons, and I got to know him, and I was like, man, I like your game. This is back when he was in L.A., so when we got him, I was excited. I was ecstatic. I told the coaches once I saw that, I was like, we got a good one. And I was excited for him to come out here. And, now that we have the time to really get the understanding, I feel like this is, like I said, this is the thing that we're understanding. It's like, all right, now we're getting to know each other. We're getting to know coaches. And now we're understanding how we operate and getting that comfortable situation where you understand, like, okay, this is how you like to do things. This is how I like to do things. So let's make it work for the both of us.
Last year, right in the middle of the season, I feel like a lot of coaches would have waited till the end of the year. But McDonald decided to move on from the two inside backers and then brought Ernest in here, and then Tyrese Knight steps up. Well, and then you guys it was like night and day almost as far as the defense. What was that like? Could you feel that happening? And, what was the biggest part of that transformation? Was it Ernest Jones, or did you guys finally just start to get the defense down, or what was that like? Because it really was like so different. Remember the first time you guys played the Niners, it looked like, us playing the Niners the last 3 or 4 years. They're just incredibly, great offense, but that last game, you guys just kept them in check. So what was the biggest difference in your mind?
For me, I feel like the biggest difference was, like you said, I feel like as a defense, there's a point because it was right around when we had right before or right after the bye week. Yeah. And I feel like as a defense, we all looked at each other and was like, look, if the choice is ours, either we're going to, tuck our tails and walk away with the season, or we're going to, buck up and get ready for the rest of it. So I feel like we took that turn and we realized like what we could be. Right before the bye week, I believe we played L.A. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the Rams. Yeah.
Yeah, we lost that one, but I remember the way we played in that game.
Okay.
And I feel like the guys really saw what we could be, and we really just bought in. And buckled down and said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make it work.
So, Boye, you have 1 day left of minicamp, and then you get a nice little break coming up before training camp. Do you go relax? Are you going to go somewhere? What are the plans that you have coming up to kind of get away from football for a little bit?
My mindset really is just to go spend some time with my family, especially right before the season happens and before I'm not able to have the freedom to travel. Definitely going to take some time and go spend some time with my family, see some of my old friends, and really just, settle down before I ramp it back up and get ready for the season.
Yeah, I remember in Tennessee you had your nephews calling you Uncle Boye.
Yeah.
So that was your sister, right?
Yeah, that's my sister.
Okay, so how many siblings are there in the family?
I have 4 girls, 2 boys, and me and my brother.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you got a chance to see everybody.
Exactly. Got to find the time.
That'll be a lot of fun. Boye, well, thank you for joining us. This was a lot of fun, get to know you a little bit more and to hear about how the offseason's been. So thanks, and enjoy one more day of minicamp and then the break coming up.
Sounds good. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Boye.
All right, Seahawks outside linebacker Boye Mafe. So plenty more to talk about here from minicamp. We're going to talk about a little bit of Mariners pitching injuries, though, after this. We'll be right back here on Wyman and Bob on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
It's the Seahawks' only mini camp of the offseason, and Seattle Sports is there.
Always a fun conversation. Julian Love.
You see Eagles flying around, you can't beat it.
Live from the sidelines, all day today, with Bump and Stacy live from VMAC beginning at 10 a.m.
Seahawks wide receiver Cooper Kupp. Does it feel weird to hear still?
Yeah, I'm getting used to it.
Followed by Wyman and Bob at 2, all the way up to Mariners pregame at 5:30. We are the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. This is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and home value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in the Puget Sound. Call 8-333-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Experience the thrill of a lifetime this summer with a share of $320,000 in prizes. We're making waves every Saturday in June from 3 to 10 p.m. with double winners every hour. Come one, come all to the Coastal Carnival of Cash. Claim 1 free daily entry. Don't forget, your Reef Rewards card can save you up to 25 cents per gallon at Lummi Bay Market next to Silver Reef. Silver Reef Casino Resort, located off I-5 exit 260.
When emergencies like wildfires, hurricanes, or severe storms strike, reliable communication can save lives. Still, many families don't have a plan. Craig Martinez, National Public Safety Strategist at T-Mobile, has more.
First responders handle more than 200 million emergencies every year. They depend on strong networks, but in a crisis, those systems can fail when we need them most.
In 2024, there were 27 U.S. weather and climate disasters with losses exceeding $1 billion each. Despite this, a new T-Mobile survey shows 34% of adults don't have a clear communications plan, even though most say reliable mobile communication is as essential as food and water in a disaster.
Preparedness isn't just about supplies, it's about staying connected. Many first responders say unreliable networks are still their biggest concern during emergencies.
With T-Priority, T-Mobile is providing first responders with a dedicated slice of its 5G network to give them more capacity, faster 5G speeds, and the highest priority. To learn more, visit tpriority.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GREEN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code GREEN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GREEN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Really nice interview with Boye Mafe. Fun to catch up with him and see how he's kind of emerged over the course of his career on the Seahawks. Yeah, going into year 4. It is kind of wild, Dave, and we can talk about this a little bit more because we'll have plenty of minicamp observations coming up throughout the show. But that 2022 class, so impactful. But the flip side of that is now there are a lot of tough decisions to make because all of them are coming to the end of their rookie contracts. So the Seahawks did extend Charles Cross, so his 5th-year option has been picked up. He'll be back for a 5th year. All those other guys, though, if you're not a first-round pick, your contract's up. Your rookie deal is up after this season.
Yeah, and it's a good draft class, no question. But as far as extending guys, I mean Charles Cross, that makes sense. To me, Boye makes sense.
Yeah, I would hope so.
I would say Ken Walker, though, is kind of,
Walker and Reek, right? I think Brady Henderson and mentioned
Reek Woolen as well.
So.
Kobe Bryant, and then
Kobe Bryant, yeah.
And then Abraham Lucas, just because of the injuries, not because of the way that he's been playing. So, yeah, it's kind of an interesting class that way. It's funny. Tyreek Smith, and I think he might be out here at camp. He's a defensive end that they got in the draft out of Ohio State, and. I just remember thinking that guy had the best pass rush moves I had seen. Yeah, he is on the roster now. So, and this is, his 4th year coming up here. He was in that draft class. But also Bo Melton and Derek Young. And Derek Young's still out there. He's just had some injury problems, but really a good special team player. So, yeah, 2022 draft was pretty good. But I don't know, with Ken Walker, is he going to be the guy? Is it going to be Charbonnet? And who's going to run that offense, with that wide zone. And what that means basically is that the offensive linemen, instead of just coming straight out, they're almost running to the sidelines. And, I saw so many times that there were plays that ended up outside the numbers. And, that's pretty far out. A lot of times it's inside the numbers or, even inside the hash marks. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to get that defense to go sideways. And so, like Boye and I talked about, it makes the gaps bigger for running backs to hit it. And then also you've got defensive linemen and linebackers that are going sideways. And really what you want to do is put your foot in the ground and go north and south. And so, that is something that is just going to be different. It's very recognizable. But the other thing is, like I said, play action pass off of that is, is going to be really a problem. But just watching them do those drills where, if you're an offensive lineman on this team, you need to be able to run. You can't be and I wonder how that's going to fit for Bradford. What's going to, how is that going to help? How is he going to help the offense? Because he's more of just like a big guy that'll just maul you, Anthony Bradford. So, and then Charbonnet, is he going to be the guy that knows how to run in that offense? I always felt like Ken Walker was much better at that kind of stuff than, Zach Charbonnet. Zach Charbonnet is much more of a north-south runner. But look, the beauty of that is you're not running that stuff all the time. And that's where I think Ken Walker and Zach Charbonnet are really, it's nice having those two different styles of running back. So, yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see who fits in. We were just talking to Stacy, and, she was, I think she was talking to Bob Condota about Jalen Sundell, who is a center that was a free agent out of, I believe, North Dakota State. And they talked about him last year, and he was one of those guys that they really liked, that he's really a smart player and everything. So we'll see who is able to do that. But watching them do those drills where these offensive linemen are just running, they're blocking still and trying to push north and south, but they're doing it while they're running east-west. And so, it's a certain kind of skill. And so if let's say Olu just doesn't do that well and Sundell does, then, he's going to get the job. So it'll be interesting to see how this style fits different players. And particularly I'm talking about offensive line.
Yeah, because we saw, and you mentioned what Stacy told us about Jalen Sundell working in with Olu. We saw the right guard that's going to draw so much scrutiny. We saw a little bit of rotation there. So Christian Haynes started when they were doing that drill with Abe Lucas, and then you had Anthony Bradford in there. And, last year that right guard spot was the one that kept being the revolving door. Yeah. And we heard Brady Henderson mention a couple days ago that he thinks Satawa Lomea could challenge for a spot there as well. So you're right, watching how each offensive lineman adapts to this new blocking scheme for some of them. Now, some, like Gray Zabel, sounds like he's very familiar with it. Hopefully he adapts to it and picks it up quickly, and that's what you want out of your first-round pick. Yeah. But that right guard spot and the center spot, and I think we both highlighted it yesterday, we were talking about position groups that you wanted to watch coming into minicamp and training camp. Who will pick that up? Because you're right, it's crazy how far out, especially if you're not used to seeing that, and you remarked that you have never seen them get that far out on a blocking drill, sprint that quickly horizontally. So we'll see how that adapts. One not really piece of news because it's still mini camp, but the practice just wrapped up, obviously, because we talked to Boye Mafe. Mike McDonald was giving some updates. He said Ken Walker has been limited due to an ankle injury. Should be fine, and it is, mini camp. We saw Ernest Jones still working his way back from a knee injury. He wasn't doing a portion at the start of practice. He was kind of walking up and down the berm with a trainer.
He had surgery, right?
Yeah, he had surgery on that knee. Yeah. And he mentioned he felt great last week at OTAs, that he feels better now, so I wouldn't be worried about that. But just kind of the nicks and scrapes and bruises that happen to guys, and that was one, I guess, newsworthy update that Mike McDonald gave. But to your point about who picks it up when you were talking about Zach Charbonnet, well, maybe it gives him a little bit of an edge, and we saw the big game he had last year against the Cardinals. So it's an interesting wrinkle for a guy in Ken Walker that figures to enter a pivotal contract year, because he's one of those guys. Final year of the rookie deal, and if Charbonnet has emerged, and your guy that you and Bob love, Kenny McIntosh, the great what-if there, all of a sudden, there's a lot pushing Ken Walker if he wants to be on this team after this upcoming season.
The other thing I think that it highlighted is not having Ernest Jones out there kind of highlights the fact that I'm not sure about their depth at inside linebacker. I mean, they have Tyrese Knight as the other linebacker. The guy I like the most out of all these guys, Drake Thomas. I mean, he from what I've seen, he's a 5'11", 228-pound linebacker. But I saw him in a couple of games last year, and I felt like he's pretty good. Patrick, or as Mike McDonald calls him, Patio. He is also, he got some reps out there today because Ernest Jones wasn't out there. But yeah, I think inside linebacker and corner are the two where I wouldn't be surprised to see them bring one of those two guys, or maybe both of those two positions, bring somebody in, a veteran. We talked yesterday about Jair Alexander, and just depending on how much money he's going to want and what other teams are going to offer him, because you said he got cut, right?
Got cut, so they can pay him whatever.
Yeah, so, I mean, we'll see what his market is. But again, and by the way, I was just about to say, I like Nehemiah Pritchett. He made a play today where he broke up a pass, and it was like right after I said that. I was like, oh, I look like a genius. Look at that. But, I like him.
Was anyone there to verify that you said that? Or were you just talking to yourself?
No, I was talking to myself. Okay. It's one of those personal satisfaction moments. No, but Pritchett was the one, though. Who was the other guy from Auburn? DJ James.
Yeah.
So they're both from Auburn. They got rid of him, and I thought DJ James was the guy who was a better tackler than Pritchett, and Pritchett was better at coverage than James. And so, yeah, I think Pritchett is, that's part of his game that he needs to work on, that, he needs to be able to tackle a little bit better. But, yeah, those two positions, and I wouldn't say I'm concerned, but I don't know. Well, I would say I'm concerned about the depth at corner and inside backer, but not like panicking over. I don't think it's, that grave of a problem. But if you get injuries, and today not having Ernest Jones out there kind of highlights that.
Yeah, well, we've talked a lot about Seahawks minicamp. We are going to talk some Mariners coming up, especially with the news that happened last night and earlier today. So that pitching, the fickle nature of pitching and the injuries and what you do with your arms, maybe it changed the calculus of this championship window for the Mariners. Maybe it didn't, but we'll weigh on it. We'll give our thoughts on whether or not changes will happen after some news to the Mariners pitching staff. That's coming up next. It's Mike Lefko and Dave Wyman with you here. Wyman and Bob on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
We got a lot of baseball to talk with Jeff Passan today.
This is now a 29-game stretch where we're 11-18. Who are these Mariners on June 10th?
They're the team that at the beginning of the season we thought they were going to be and that they can't hit. Like, if Cal Raleigh is not in this lineup right now, I mean, I don't even know. They would look like the Rockies.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman for Swedish Cyberknife. We had a guy named Andy Ryder. He's the mayor of Lacey, and he's also a Swedish Cyberknife patient. We had him and Dr. Landis from Swedish Cyberknife in studio last week, or it was a couple weeks ago, but a few of the things that really stood out about Swedish Cyberknife, the treatment. Number one, it only takes 5 sessions. Andy was able to complete treatment in 1 week, Monday through Friday, while continuing to work full-time, and each treatment session lasts less than an hour. So he was able to remain comfortable during treatment. You can wear your street clothes in. Didn't experience any side effects, maybe just a little bit of fatigue, but you compare that with other treatment methods where you have to have surgery or a catheter. I mean, it is night and day. Also, it was really cool to see the relationship between Andy and Dr. Landis. Andy held him in such high regard, and rightfully so. Dr. Landis is a multiple-time recipient of the Seattle Top Doctor Award. And we talk about building a sports team and trying to find stars. Swedish Cyberknife truly has that. It's an all-pro roster of doctors and world-renowned experts in their field, just like Dr. Landis. Swedish Cyberknife treats patients from all over the state, and you don't need a physician referral. You can reach out to them directly. So if you have been diagnosed with prostate cancer, go to swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife.
Hey, Mike Salk here with some exciting news from a family-owned business that's local here in Western Washington. Yeah, we love to root for these guys. It's Riverside Roofing, and they've once again earned the prestigious GAF Master Elite President's Club. So you might remember I've been talking about only 3% of roofing companies nationally qualify for GAF Master Elite status. But how many of those achieve President's Club? Well, that's only 2%. Truly the cream of the crop. Proudly from Marysville and serving homeowners all over Western Washington, Riverside Roofing is the roofing company you can trust. So what does that mean for you, the homeowner? Well, it means you're hiring the best. A company that gets high marks in performance, reliability, and service, plus an elite warranty to match. Highly reviewed and highly recommended, certainly by me. Riverside Roofing is your go-to local roofing contractor. Book them now for a summer project and get that roof done fast. I highly recommend them. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. They are the roofing company you can trust.
Empower. Jen has ordered a decadent seafood tower, king crab legs, lobster tails, and a waterfall of caviar. Pricey? You bet. But Jen worked with Empower on her savings and investment strategy and planned for splurges like these. She got good at money, so she can be a little bad. Ooh, champagne. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risk. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisory Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. OMG, those shrimps are really jumbo.
Find what you love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
And 6/22/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Eric Johnson here. I covered a lot of accidents over the past 30 years or so, but I never got to say much about what to do after a crash. Be honest, do you know what evidence to collect, what pictures to take, what documents to request, or what you shouldn't say to your insurance company? The Washington Accident Book Series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the roads throw at them. Know your rights and how to avoid common mistakes after an accident by getting your free copy at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Game 2 of the Mariners series in Arizona against the Diamondbacks. Coming up, you can hear it right here on Seattle Sports starting at 5:30 with our pregame coverage. Shannon Dreyer will lead you up to first pitch at 6:40. Tough loss last night, Dave, especially with the way they came back. And then tough news afterwards. So Dan Wilson, after the game, revealed that people had seen Logan Evans around in the clubhouse. So Dan Wilson said, Logan's going to pitch tomorrow. Bryce Miller is going on the IL. The Mariners made it official today. They placed Bryce Miller on the IL with right elbow inflammation. So we'll see the length and kind of the duration now for Bryce, because it's the second time on the IL with that same injury. But as you look at this Mariners staff, that's supposed to be, the undeniably best pitching rotation in baseball after last year where they had so much optimism, and now 3 of those starters on the IL again with Miller and Kirby that was just on it and Logan Gilbert. So I guess not 3 right now, but you have the 3 that were on it, and now Bryce Miller is back on it. Logan Gilbert is making another rehab start tonight in Tacoma. But with all of these injuries, the pitching staff, the Mariners have tried to build around this staff and wait till some of the other players are ready to contend. I just feel like it has to almost hasten their urgency of saying, you can't count on the pitching staff being fully healthy. We've seen the arm injuries around baseball, everyone having a good season like that, or maybe some fluke injury to Julio happens, like when he got the ball off his shin a couple of games ago. But I wonder if the Mariners now are saying, look, we have this rotation that we don't know if they're going to be healthy year in and year out. We've seen the proof of this. Do they have to change their kind of careful team-building process and maybe make some moves that make them uncomfortable?
So Miller, it's a 10-day?
15-day for pitchers. But okay. So I would think with him, it's going to be longer than that this time because he came off immediately the first time. He was there for 15 days, didn't make a rehab start, went right back into the rotation. And, he told you guys, he told you and Bob in that well-done interview, as Matt says, but Bryce Miller, great guy as well. But he told you guys that he felt much better. And, he felt fine. He was pitching through some pain that maybe he shouldn't have. No reason to doubt him. But then he goes out there and maybe not realizing, all right, things are bothering me more than I thought. Clearly something was wrong when he made that start over the weekend. So he's back on the IL. I would hope he's out long enough until it gets fully fixed. How long is that going to be? Can't really say, but it's going to be much longer than 15 days this time.
I just don't have the level of panic that people are. I mean, well, I don't want to say it was panic, but John Paul Morosi, typically I agree 100% with him, but he's saying at the trade deadline, the most urgent thing that needs to be addressed is starting pitching. I'm not there yet. To me, it's still offense, but because you saw Kirby, and now look, I'm counting on him not being 7 innings and 14 strikeouts or something. He doesn't necessarily have to be that, but he just needs to be George Kirby. Castillo can just be Castillo. Wu can be Wu. And then, I feel like Logan is going to be back just because of his routine and everything. So if that 5th spot has to be Logan Evans, what's the big deal? I get it. I get that Bryce Miller was really he was a candidate for, in a lot of people's minds, he was a candidate for being a Cy Young Award winner and all that. But I don't know. I just think most teams have it's kind of like an offensive line, right? If you have, right now, we have 3 spots on the offensive line that are theoretically just nailed down. You got your first rounder, 2 first rounders, and Charles Cross and Gray Zabel, and then, Abe Lucas on the other side, and we'll work it out with the other 2. I feel like most teams don't have that in their rotation. And you're talking about, I believe Logan Gilbert's coming back. So even if, let's say, Miller doesn't make it back, I still don't think you need to go out and get starting pitching.
Well, I'm kind of looking at it as more of needing to go out and make a big impact move on offense, because this year has shown that you can't just assume, okay, next year when everyone's healthy, it's going to be fine. Or as all these pitchers stay together for the next few years, then we'll wait till all of our young, highly touted prospects come up, and all of a sudden it's all good. So I would like them to make a kind of Luis Castillo type trade like they did in 2022, but for a bat. So if you have to pry away those prospects that they have been reluctant to do so, I think this should probably show you that you need to do more to help the lineup, because you can't rely on the pitching staff to be dominant night in and night out. It was something that Jeff Passan kind of addressed with Brock and Salk this morning, that, regardless of how good your starting pitching is, if the Mariners are not putting together a lineup to support it, you're not going to be able to win.
When you have outings like the one we saw from George Kirby a few days ago, when you're having relatively, the starting pitching and the pitching altogether hasn't been great, but it has not been poor. When you have that and you cannot complement it with even a mediocre offense, let alone an average one, like it's just wasteful, and they are in danger of falling behind a concerning number from the team that has owned this division for a decade now.
Yeah, that's so discouraging that once again the Astros, they just continue to dominate this division. But yeah, it just to me, I'm still like, and I think most fans, and you can text in 866-979-3776. Would you actually be pissed if the Mariners went and got starting pitching instead of getting a bat? I mean, and if it's either,
I hope it's both.
If it's either or, both. Obviously, you'd love that, right? But yeah, I mean, I guess like let's say this: they prioritize that. Would you be pissed if they prioritized that over getting a bat? It just doesn't make sense to me. But and look, I think they have done such a good job with pitching and, developing guys or, trading for them. And I just don't ever worry about that. The bullpen, they've got two of the more dynamic arms in Matt Brash and Andres Munoz in the entire league. So, I just don't worry about that part of it. And then, okay. Somebody gets hurt, well, let's go get Logan Evans. I don't even remember talking about him. His last outing was fantastic. So, to me, 8 innings. He gave up 1 earned run, which was a home run, and then he had a walk and 4 strikeouts. So, I mean, that was against the Nationals, and that was in that game that they won. But, I don't see where the problem is. And so that's the way I would put it. Like if you prioritize starting pitching over a bat, that would be irritating to me.
Yeah, an interesting conversation we can get back to a little bit later in the show. But coming up, we have to catch up with one of your old teammates and another guy in the Seahawks top 50 all-time greatest players. Jacob Green joins us next here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
It's the Seahawks' only minicamp of the offseason, and Seattle Sports is there.
Always a fun conversation. Julian Love.
You see Eagles flying around him, you can't beat it.
Live from the sidelines, all day today, with Bump and Stacy live from VMAC beginning at 10 a.m.
Seahawks wide receiver Cooper Kupp. Does it feel weird to hear still?
Yeah, I'm getting used to it.
Followed by Wyman and Bob at 2, all the way up to Mariners pregame at 5:30. We are the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Got neighbors? Big Trees can help. This is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. If you've been considering planting trees to add privacy, look no further than Big Trees. Privacy trees fill in empty spaces, help to define property lines, and add curb appeal. Learn more about Big Trees' big supply of privacy trees at bigtreesupply.com.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. This is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and home value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in the Puget Sound. Call 8-333-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed. From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
An update here from Seahawks minicamp. Mike McDonald says Ken Walker has been limited in practice due to an ankle injury, but McDonald says, quote, he should be fine. One more day of Seahawks minicamp, then they're off till training camp towards the end of July. Meanwhile, the Seahawks were busy today. They signed Michael Dixon to a 4-year, $16.2 million contract extension, making him the highest paid punter in the NFL. The Mariners have recalled Logan Evans. He gets the start tonight, game 2 of that series against Diamondbacks. It's a 6:40 first pitch. We'll have pregame coverage beginning at 5:30 right here on Seattle Sports. A number of star players are holding out of NFL minicamps, including Jalen Ramsey, TJ Watt, Trey Hendrickson, and Terry McLaurin.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Sports, Mike Lefko and Dave Wyman here with you. We are live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center, day 1 of Seahawks minicamp. Day 2 wraps up tomorrow, then they're off. A nice long break until training camp. It is. The season begins right there for the Seahawks. But, Dave, we're going to go back. We're going to go back to a guy who played when you were there and a Seahawk who has made their top 50.
Actually, I was there when he
played.
played.
That's true. I didn't want to make – yeah, I wanted to get back. You were in his era. That's right. We want to get to one of the top 50 Seahawk greatest players of all time. It is Seahawk legend Jacob Green. Jacob, thanks for joining us. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Big Jake, how cool was that to get that call? And look, to me, you were a no-brainer as far as that list that you were going to be on there. But just, the feeling, I mean, you probably already knew that was going to happen, but that had to have been just a special feeling.
No, it was, Dave. I mean, anytime that you can, folks think about you and put you in that category with all the guys that we've had come through there. Yeah, of course it was an honor, and so I'm don't take it for granted, but certainly there's guys that probably should have been on there, like yourself that played and which was the backbone of our defense when we played. So. I mean, but it was good, Dave. It was good, and hey, it was fun to see.
Well, and I'll bet you also that it was kind of extra special for you because Jake, Joe, and Jeff made it, right? Jeff Bryant, Joe Nash, Jacob Green. I just remember I used to call you guys the regulators because, if Jake, Joe, and Jeff, if you go against Jake, Joe, and Jeff, you're out. I mean, you guys kind of ran that team, and I imagine it was kind of extra special having those two guys there.
It was definitely special when I got the call, and then I was on the phone when both Boogie, who we call Jeff, and Boogie's Jeff, and Joe. So it was special for all of us, and there's no way that I could have been on there without them. That's for sure. I mean, those guys, Dave, those guys there were hey, man, they were tough. I mean, I'd go to war with them any day. And, it was just I'm so happy for Joe and Jeff that they were on that top 52. So, I mean, so we'll get a chance to celebrate together and enjoy that. Well, that'll be a lifetime deal for us. So we'll be able to, when we get older, we can laugh a little more about it.
I remember one time there was always discussions between, inside linebackers and defensive linemen and, whose fault was this and that. And I remember Jeff was like, you just missed the tackle, and I was like, what? Yeah, but this, that, and the other. And then Jeff got like really sort of obstinate about it. And then I go to Joe, I'm like, Joe, do you hear what he's saying here? And Joe's like, I can't help you.
I can't help you.
I can't help you because, I mean, you guys all pretty much agreed on what was right, what was wrong. And like I said, you guys were the regulators on that defense. That was for a long time. And the other thing, a guy like Jeff Bryant, I mean, we'll get into your stats, which are incredible. But here's a guy, Jeff Bryant, Boogie, who had 14 and a half sacks one year, and then he ended up with 63 sacks. I mean, he was just such a solid player. And same thing with Joe Nash. He like, how many blocked kicks? He had like 8 or 10, something like that.
He had at least that many. Joe was a natural for that, but Joe was a great football player, man. Joe took on more double teams than anybody that probably played football. I mean, because we were 3-4 in, and a lot of times Joe would get 2 or 3 guys on him, and we would be free a little bit. But and the linebackers, that, Dave. But
sure.
Those guys are tough, man. And like I said, Jeff, Boogie was just. I mean, he would terrorize offensive tackles, and they wanted no part of Jeff.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I mentioned your stats, Jake. Unbelievable. I think, you scored 4 touchdowns. It looks like two interceptions and 2 fumble recoveries. 4 touchdowns as a defensive end. I mean, that's impressive enough, but 115 sacks. And so did they go back and fill those numbers in, Jake? Because I think before, was it 1982, they didn't record sacks or something like that?
They went back and filled those in, those first 2 years, which was, I think the first year I had, I don't know if I had 6 and then I had 10 or something like that. But
12.
But they credit me. 12. But they credit me with those 18 sacks. So they did a good job of going back and some of the guys that even before me got their numbers back up. But man, I was blessed and lucky, and we had guys that could play on defense. We had good cover guys, so that had a lot to do with some of those statistics that we all had on that D line. So, but it was always fun, and it's just something I can look back at and just said, hey, I did the best that I could do.
115 sacks, and I remember 3 of those. We were having a slump in 1989. And we kicked the coaches out. Jacob Green got up in front of the entire defense and said, "I'm going to get 3 sacks." And he wrote up on the and this is when I was young, and so I'm like, "Boy, this guy's really full of crap." You think he's going to go out there and get? He went out and got 4 sacks. You were wrong, Jake. You actually got 4. So no, it was unbelievable. And I just remember you getting up and giving speeches, and that was what you were best at. But then, you get out on the field, and it was ridiculous. So, congratulations on making the team.
Well, man, thanks, Dave. Man, I appreciate that. And, like I said, man, I couldn't have done it without you guys. And we had fun when we played. And it's always to be good memories for us, man. Always good memories.
Well, Jacob, we love to hear Dave Wyman stories from his teammates. So what did you think of this Wyman guy when they drafted him a few years into your career here?
Well, the one thing we did know is he was smart and he was tough because he went to Stanford, and he was a heck of a linebacker. And Dave came in and played when, hey, we our best defenses. He would line us up. I mean, you think we would know, but sometimes we just didn't get in the right spot. I'd look over at Joe, and Joe was in this position. I'd look at Dave, and he'd shove us over a boogie. He helped us all the time. So, but Dave was a great teammate. You tell him the John Elway story, Dave?
John Elway story.
Did he get up under the center? You told him to get up. He got up under the guard when we were playing, and yeah, and you told him to get up under the center. You remember that?
Yeah, vaguely. Yeah. I think that was his rookie year.
That was his rookie year. Yeah. That was his rookie year. Yeah, he got up under the guard, and you said, "Hey, John, center's right there." I remember that. Yeah. We had some great times. So I tell you, but we just played. We had some battles, man. You think about the games we played, Dave, with the Raiders and the Chargers, and all those games in the Broncos. I mean, we went out. We did what we had to do, and Dave was a great linebacker. That's all I can say. I mean, he covered us up and made a lot of plays. And if you look at his statistics, you'll see that too.
I appreciate that, Jake. But yeah, I mean, I always credit the guys in front of me, but it takes that kind of teamwork to get where you need to be.
Absolutely.
But, yeah.
Absolutely.
So, was it tough for you, Jake, at the end? I mean, I know you finished your career in San Francisco, and I always say that I'd still be playing if they let me, if my body could have held up. But I mean, you played for 13 years. Were you like done at the end and just kind of like beat up a little bit, or were you ready to?
I think I just, I always said I didn't want to go and I wanted to play in Seattle in that year. And that last year in San Francisco, I went because I thought that, hey, maybe I get a chance to play in the Super Bowl. And after that year, there were several teams that wanted me to go play, and I probably should have went and played. But but I wanted to get back and start and come back to our family business here in Houston, and did that. But there's no question that, I don't know about you, and I'm sure you do. I wake up sometime, I have a dream that I'm playing, and I wake up and go, dang, that was just a dream.
Yeah.
You have those flashbacks of playing. So, but you also had the flashbacks of all the guys you played with and the things that you guys did. So that we done anyway. So, but no, I think when I left the game, I mean, I was content with that, and I just kind of, but as you said, hey, I'd go back and play now for sure.
Yeah.
So,
it was the most fun. It was like getting paid to play a game that you love. So, but
exactly.
I also would have some of the flashbacks to waking up. I remember my 8th and 9th year. I remember one time getting up to go to the bathroom after a game, and I started actually laughing because I was in so much pain. I was like, I could not have been in more pain. But I don't know. That was always kind of like a badge to me. Like if I was sore after a game, I felt like I probably, played a good game. And I don't know if you felt that way, but it just felt like you had really accomplished something.
You left it on the lines. You left it on the line, and you wanted to play. And Dave, the thing about when we played is, not that it's. I mean, we played the whole game. We didn't come out for a run defense or a pass defense. I mean, we did what we did. We played we might have brought DB in, but for the most part, we played. And we played 60, 70 plays a game.
Yeah, every snap.
I mean, and that's why we can think about the things just like you said. You played hard when you're sore, and the next morning you get up there on that Monday morning after Sunday game, and you can hardly move, and then you do the Tuesday and you get a little relaxation, but we grinding back on Wednesday. So, I absolutely agree with that.
Hey, Jacob, are you still involved with your alma mater with the fundraising for Texas A&M? Because I'm curious, with all the changes that have happened in the college sports landscape, how has it changed for what you guys have done?
Well, it's changed quite a bit. Yes, I am still with Texas A&M. I'm actually in Houston tonight. I'm speaking to a group of young boys that are scholarship, all been offered scholarships from across the states. But anyway, the NIL has changed the game, and my fundraising now is it's more. I mean, NIL driven, and the best thing I guess I can say about Texas A&M is that we built facilities over the last 2-3 years, and so we don't have to worry about that right now. Now we might have to do some improvements, but basically, my job, when I took the job 19 and a half years ago, was to do fundraising for student athletes, scholarships, building facilities, and stuff like that. But anything dealing with athletics, but now it's shifted a little bit where I got to ask donors for money for NIL, and that's hard to do. It's hard for people to do that, but a lot of my donors, I mean, they like it, but then some of them don't. I mean, but if you don't do it, there's no way you're going to be competitive.
Yeah.
You look at the teams that were competitive, those teams who had the highest budgets, NIL, like Ohio State, their budget was $40 million. They just football.
Yeah.
Whereas ours was like at 25, which is not it's not bad. I mean, this year it'll be 28 to 30. So you got to be in the game. I mean, it's gotten to where kids like the school, but it's changed. It's quite differently now, and that's just the way it is right now. I have no problem with them getting paid. The problem I have with them is coming in one year and then bouncing the next year from a school. It's got to be some kind of rules where unless the coach leaves, that you can pack up, because right now they can leave. Hey, kids can leave at the end of the semester and go somewhere else and play.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to get behind kids. I mean, I remember watching Duke basketball, and I remember when Grant Hill was a freshman, and I'm like, oh man, I can't wait till he's a sophomore and a junior, and then now you got guys that are, switching teams or switching colleges almost every year.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, man. Hey, we got a kid. This is his 7th year. He's a quarterback. 7th year coming to A&M. He'll be a backup quarterback.
That sounds like a pro career.
So hey, half of the kids, as you know, Dave, there's only how many NFL players? 1,500 maybe now? 16?
Yeah.
I'd just say 2,000. Just say 2,000, that's about it. Just say 2,000 in the world. So you got 2,000 guys that's playing in the NFL in the world, in the United States, in the world. And so a lot of these kids, they're staying in school for their 5th and 6th year because of COVID and because, the red shirt year, they get an extra year and they can make more money playing football there than leaving school and going trying to make an NFL team right now and getting a job. So the smart ones are working it maybe and trying to save and do some things, but man, I tell you, I mean, that's what it is right now. It's just the way it is right now.
It's pretty amazing that guys coming into the NFL are actually taking pay cuts out of college. But yeah. Hey, Jake, real quick before we let you go, I know we got like a minute or two, but another great Seahawk in your life, Red Bryant. So your daughter, I can't remember which one, but married Red Bryant.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and he's also a Texas A&M guy and a Seahawk.
He's a Texas A&M guy. He's a Seahawk, and he's doing really good, Dave. I got 4 grandkids. My oldest grandson is 13, Dave. He's 270 pounds, and he wears a size 15.
Oh my God!
He looks me in the eye. He wears my double X's, and that's where he is now. And he's an offensive tackle. How about that?
Yeah.
Going into the 8th grade.
Wow.
But I mean, and the other two boys they love sports, and Jordan, which is my granddaughter, they love it. But Red's doing good. They're doing good, man. He's been a great father, and he's taking care of himself, and he comes to Seattle.
Yeah, nice.
All right, well, Jake, it's great catching up with you, man. Really appreciate you. And what a great honor, and you were such a huge part of this franchise, and just loved seeing the fact that you had your 2 running mates, Jeff Bryant and Joe Nash there. But hope to see you soon, man.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate it, man. And I'll see you. I'll give you a holler when I get back down there.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Okay, man. Thank you. All right. Bye.
All right, there is Jacob Green. Again, you've talked glowingly about these guys on the Seahawks top 50 that you played with. So we've been doing a pretty good job, I think, catching up with a good chunk of these guys who are named the Seahawks all-time greatest team, or their top 50 players of all time that they unveiled mid to late last week. So big era. It's fun to kind of look back and see how good those defenses were that you played on towards the end of his career there, and all those guys that you mentioned in the early 80s. And we caught up with Kurt Warner when he was on that 83 team that went to the AFC title game. Just kind of cool to reminisce on that era of Seahawks football.
Yeah, and it's just talking to the older guys is kind of interesting because everything has just changed so much, and we were talking about the NIL thing with Jacob, but I thought, once again, they did a really good job of getting guys. Now, Jacob Green was going to be in there no matter what, just because of his numbers, 150 sacks. Yeah. But, and also he just meant so much to this franchise. But then, getting Jeff Bryant, I feel like Jeff was always kind of overlooked. Like he was the unsung hero, and he 63 sacks, just a solid player. And then same thing with Joe Nash. And those were we ran a 3-4. That was your nose guard, and the 2 tackles were Jacob and Jeff. And, and I thought that they did a great job of representing every era. So, because in that same era was Brian Millard and Edwin Bailey, and those 2 guys made it, and they were guards, and they were just solid. I mean, they were... imagine having 2 guards for, it must have been like 7 or 8 years in a row where they played together. And, we talk about the offensive line all the time. And, those were just 2 guys you could count on. But then, Jake, Joe, and Jeff, man, those guys, they were great leaders as well. And I mean, every once in a while, Jake would kick the coaches out, and say, hey, we need to have a player meeting. And a few times, Jake would get like so passionate about it that he would like get teared up, but like and the first time I saw that, I was like, wow, I mean, this guy really cares about this team. And and so I learned a lot from him, and that was just a awesome era of Seahawks football.
Yeah, if you missed that, our conversation with Jacob Green or Kurt Warner, or anyone that we've talked to Boye Mafe today as well. That was a great conversation. He's a great guy, Dave. So if you missed any of that, you just want to go watch all these again, check out our Wyman and Bob channel on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and search for Seattle Sports on all social media platforms to find segments like our conversations with Seahawks players like Jacob Green, Mariners players. We'll talk to a Mariners player. We're out at Edgar's on Friday when they begin their homestand against the Guardians, and much more. So check all that out. Or if you want to see Dave Wyman's minicamp observations, because I know a lot of people wanted to hear what you had to say about OTAs the past couple of weeks. So we're out here at Seahawks minicamp. We've been breaking down what the Seahawks have been doing, just a 2-day minicamp, so they'll finish it up tomorrow and then go into their off season. But there was one kind of glaring positional difference between the Mariners and the Diamondbacks last night, and it unfortunately came to light in the most critical situation at the end of the game. So talk about how the Mariners find a way to get back to kind of league average at a key position in their lineup. That's coming up next. It's Mike Lefko and Dave Wyman with you here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
It's the Seahawks' only minicamp of the offseason, and Seattle Sports is there.
Always a fun conversation. Julian Love.
You see Eagles flying around, you can't beat it.
Live from the sidelines. All day today with Bump and Stacy live from VMAC beginning at 10 a.m.
Seahawks wide receiver Cooper Kupp. Does it feel weird to hear still?
Yeah, I'm getting used to it.
Followed by Wyman and Bob at 2. All the way up to Mariners pregame at 5:30. We are the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors. They're a local company serving all of Western Washington for the past 23 years. And when you hear Harley Exteriors, I want you to think windows. And they're manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, and this is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. And they're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort, and they come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty. And that means not only are you covered for glass, breakage, or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and the value of your home. So it's very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest, up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. So think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in the Puget Sound. Call 833 Harley. I'm sorry, 833 Harley. That's 833 HARLEY. Or you can just go to harleyexteriors.com.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with 0 risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Secret Clinical dominating extra stinky stress sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat. Let's run another marathon. And regular deodorant. How much more? Secret is the GOAT. Because nothing fights sweat better.
Stay fresher under pressure. Get rid of stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin with ProSculpt, the simple one-day permanent fat reduction and skin tightening treatment. Book your free consultation at prosculpt.com.
If you've been in a wreck or a fender bender,
you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility, not just where your insurance company tells you to go. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. With over 25 years of auto repair work, they'll exceed your expectations.
we meet by accident, fixing every last dent. Accurate Auto Body.
At Accurate Auto Body, all their work is performed by certified technicians, only using OEM parts to guarantee the safety of you and your family. For the best in auto body collision repair and customer service, give them a call at 425-883-2450 or AccurateAutoBodyWA.com. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last dent. Accurate Auto Body.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Dave, I have to admit something yesterday. It was during the Mariners-Diamondbacks game. And it was a realization that, it was tough to come by. But during the course of the game, I was watching Josh Naylor, and he made some terrific catches. And then he hit the walk-off grand slam, and I came to the realization that I have Josh Naylor envy. I have Josh Naylor envy.
How about just first baseman
First base envy. You're right. That's what it really is. It boils down to first baseman envy, but it was magnified last night by Josh Naylor, who went 3 for 5, had the 5 runs driven in, including that walk-off grand slam. And then you look, and, Rowdy Tellez, he has had some decent moments. Mm-hmm. He had a game where he had that stretch against the Blue Jays. He had those games where he kind of helped them win the series, including that grand slam he had. But last night, 0 for 2, he has really struggled. The first base production has just been abysmal for the Mariners. So out of that first base spot, they're getting the 6th worst slugging percentage, the 3rd worst average. Pretty much every metric, every offensive metric you want to compare the first base position is not going well for the Mariners. That spot has the 4th worst WAR of any team, and you're being compared to teams like the Rockies. That's never good. Negative 1.2 WAR for the Mariners' first base position. It just made me realize they need to do something. It was not a new realization, But I think it became so glaringly obvious how deficient that position is when you look at what Josh Naylor did, and then you look at what they're not getting at first right now.
Yeah, I know it's not Wednesday, but what if Luke Raley had been healthy this year? Do you think he could have developed into? Yeah, I mean, look, I think I wonder if that's the one injury that maybe is a little bit undersold. I mean, we've talked a lot about the pitching for sure. Robles, which to me, Robles is the one. I mean, it's not like right field has been. Well, it's been a bit of an adventure, I guess, with Tavares, but yeah, that was interesting. Tavares was when he first came in, and I looked at him on defense. He looked really good, and then you saw him, I think, in that series against the Angels, where he had a couple of problems as far as playing in the field, and then the hitting dropped off precipitously, but. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if Luke Raley might be the answer there. I mean, he was one of the few acquisitions that actually worked out for the Mariners over the past 3 or 4 years, and maybe that's the answer. But yeah, I mean, Naylor is just he's a guy that I feel like has punished the Mariners a lot, because when he was with Cleveland, I remember him hitting bombs, and he's just a very much like his body and everything. He looks like just a guy off the street.
Yeah, Jeff Passan kind of put it into context how bad this Mariners offense has been recently.
They're the team that at the beginning of the season we thought they were going to be and that they can't hit. Like, if Cal Raleigh is not in this lineup right now, I mean, I don't even know what to think they would look like. They would look like the Rockies. Like, that's how bad the offense has been. I mean, over the last dozen games, and I know you guys are talking about a stretch going back 29 games, but I'm going to look at the stretch where they've had multiple losing streaks. The only good things have been the walk-off wins that they had. In that time, over the last 12 games, the Seattle Mariners have 11 home runs, and 7 of them are from Cal Raleigh.
Jeez, that
pretty sobering.
When it is, that's a good word. I mean, we're masking everything that's wrong on the offense, and that's why, when JP says we need to address starting pitching, I'm blown away by that. And then also any comparison to the Colorado Rockies,
that was just kind of insulting. Come on, Josh.
I mean, they have won 6 home games and 6 away games. So, and they're minus 198 in run differential. So I don't think I've ever seen a number like that. Maybe who's the team last year that was just
the White Sox?
Yeah,
Sox. They set the record for futility. They had the fewest losses ever, and now the Rockies are on pace to break that, I guess, to win, to beat them in a sense. So they're on pace to be the worst team. But
do you win when you beat them?
You win by being the biggest loser, I guess. So we'll see what happens there. But, it's interesting because, we keep coming back to the Morosi thing. So I was going to get to this other pass-in description of the Mariners in a second. But I don't believe, and I think Morosi is saying there, that they need starting pitching in addition to a bat. Because he's talked to us about guys that would be available, like O'Hearn and all these people. And I don't think he's saying you need to make it starting pitching and then a bat. It's got to be both. Like, both are the priority for him. And at this point, they have to be not and or. It's got to be and. So starting pitching and offense. I, like you, would reverse that and say first, but I assume and I hope he's lumping them both together. You got to improve both at this point.
Well, but they're not going to do that. See,
that's the problem. Why not?
That's what, because that's just not what they do.
I think
their owners, the ownership is not they have a finite amount of money to spend. And look, if you do
capital, that's why
trades and stuff like
people
that,
you aren't comfortable with.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I mean, who are you going to give up? The only thing anybody wants from the Mariners is pitching and Cal Raleigh.
No, prospects. They have so many prospects. They don't want to give them up. So I think this is where you have
to. There's prospects.
You got to give them up at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, if there is a finite amount of money, and you're diluting that by spending any of it player. I mean, I'm saying like commodity, basically. You're going to have to give up something really big. as far as trading, and that's what they've always wanted here, and that they do really well. So I don't know. I mean, to me, I don't know how you finagle that, but I just don't want anything that will dilute the fact that they need offense here.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that stuff from Passan is really jarring.
Well, actually, it gets worse if you want to hear.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, so here's Jeff Passan with kind of a more detailed breakdown of why the Mariners' offense has been struggling.
Over these last 12 games, here are the RBI leaders for the Mariners. Cal Raleigh, 16. J.P. Crawford and Randy Arozarena are next at 4. Cole Young at 3. Rowdy Tellez and Leody Taveras and Donovan Solano and Dom Canzone at 2, and then a few guys at 1, including Julio Rodriguez. They are striking out more. They are walking less. That Mariners offense that we saw during that period where they, finally came back and took over first place in the American League West, it has disappeared, and it's a bad time, guys, for it to happen.
I'm sorry, what were those numbers?
Not good.
No, I mean, but what was he referring to?
Just the offense recently.
Yeah, but he said
Mariners.
Cal had...
11 RBIs.
RBIs.
Yeah, and
okay.
then Julio and Randy were next with 4.
Okay.
So,
yeah,
we know it's all Cal, but I think that kind of puts it in a pretty glaring perspective of how one track the offense has been.
Yeah, once again, alarming.
Alarming, yeah. And that's why, you know what? I think let's pin down JP next time, whenever he is on from Parts Unknown in Italy, and say, hey, you mean starting pitching in addition to offense, right? Not either or. Because language, you're right, it's important. So if he's saying starting pitching and then that's got to be first, or starting pitching is also a priority, assuming that they get impact bats and they get offensive help. Because I can't imagine, John Morosi, who covers MLB every single day, who's on with us every week, is not seeing the issues with this offense. He told us the offense has had issues. So you're right, though. I kind of want to pin him down and say, hold on.
Yeah,
when
but
you say
because
priority, you mean like dueling priorities.
Yeah, well, and also because who do they have to trade? Cal, as he mentioned, and then starting pitching. I mean, that's what they have the most of, right? In order to get something in return, what are you gonna?
Well, the teams you're trading with, I don't think they're going to want MLB players. That's what you hope that teams selling, that, you look down at the dregs of the White Sox or the Rockies or the Orioles, who they had talked about now. If they struggle, that you get O'Hearn and they want prospects. They could have a couple of years of control. That's why the Rays have been such a good trade partner, because they got those prospects. You trade 2 of your good prospects away for Arozarena last year. So we'll see.
And I will say this, that, as far as the prospects go, and we've seen more offensive production and success than in years past, where it's typically pitching that that they've really hit home runs with. But maybe they have that, and they have enough value there to trade for, something that can help them in addition to the bats. But I mean, those numbers from Jeff Passan, it kind of ruins the parade, doesn't it? I mean, you're like, oh, I'm super happy about Cal and everything, but he's the only one.
Yeah, we will see. Speaking of Major League Baseball, there is a big rule change that sounds like it's coming to baseball next season. We'll hear about that when we sweep the dial here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
We got a lot of baseball to talk with Jeff Passan today.
This is now a 29-game stretch where we're 11-18. Who are these Mariners on June 10th?
They're the team that at the beginning of the season we thought they were going to be and that they can't hit. Like, if Cal Raleigh is not in this lineup right now, I mean, I don't even know. They would look like the Rockies.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
After years of football and the injuries that go with it, my first thought was always go get surgery. Hey, it's Dave Wyman here, but after a consultation with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine, my eyes were open to an alternative to surgery, and I'm talking about stem cell therapy with Dr. Wagner. It helps with severe osteoarthritis, including bone-on-bone, loss of cartilage, even rotator cuff, labrum, and meniscus tears. And it's about getting people back to doing all the activities they love without pain and, most importantly, without surgery. Dr. Wagner's 60-minute outpatient procedure uses your own stem cells, which can regenerate your own cartilage in your own joints. Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, is a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience, and he's performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures. And he's one of the few doing it the right way. So whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Get the facts, then get back in the game at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Dan. Dan, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
I had the same insurance company for 30 years and just accepted all the premium increases as inflation or feeling tethered to them because I have earthquake coverage and was uncertain about being able to get that anywhere else. But when I talked to Ken at First Mark, wow, he came back with bigger umbrella policy, better earthquake coverage, which I didn't think was possible. And when he came down with the premium number, it was a no-brainer. We were saving over $2,500 a year. Don't wait, because it's annoying to think of what I could have done with that money over the last 10 years had I done something sooner.
Well, Dan did it. My family did it. You got to do it, and it's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge today. See how much money they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be the next First Mark Challenge victory that I get to talk to as well. Simply go to firstmarkinsurance.com, firstmarkinsurance.com.
It's time. Time for the pro to get everything for the job delivered. Large orders of lumber, doors, windows, paint, plumbing, anything the job needs, all from one partner. Get it today with same-day delivery. Get it tomorrow with next-day delivery on 50,000 plus products. Or get it on your timeline with scheduled delivery on everything from framing to flooring. It's time to get your whole job, all your jobs delivered. Ask about all our new delivery options at the Pro Desk. The Home Depot Pro, it's about time.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
When businesses thrive, communities score. That's why Bank of America is the official bank of FIFA Club World Cup here in Seattle. And our more than 95 local business specialists are ready to help your business win. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Well, here in our region, it's really common for homes to have damaged insulation or even no insulation at all in their crawl space or attic. Well, in the winter, that'll make your home cold and drafty. And in the summer months, it can turn your home into an oven. It's Mike Salk here, and utility companies have special incentives right now to help with the cost of having your home properly insulated, including a once-in-a-lifetime rebate from Puget Sound Energy. So if you're a PSE customer and your home was built before 1990, you could qualify to receive a rebate on up to 95% of the cost cost to properly insulate your crawl space and attic. Yes, they will cover up to 95% of the cost. And if you're anything like me, you love the idea of somebody else paying to improve your home, add value to it, and save you money along the way. How good does that sound? Don't wait. Call Crawl Pros to learn what's going on behind that crawl space and attic hatch for free, and then what energy rebates you're eligible for. If you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection at crawlpros.com.
Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
So everyone's been buzzing about Jair Alexander, especially around here, as a potential fit for the Seahawks. Well, Field Yates on NFL Live explains why there might not be as high demand as you would think for Alexander.
I think people hear the name Jair Alexander, Laura, and they go, all right, let me Google how much cap space my team has left right now. Can I go out there and afford this former All-Pro player at a really important position? And then you kind of look under the hood a little bit and you ask yourself, what kind of player is Jair Alexander viewed as around the NFL now in the open market? You guys mentioned the 14 games over the past 2 seasons, which means 20 missed. Go 2 more years back, 34 of the past 68 games. He's just as likely as he is unlikely to be on the field. I think the market, when he does sign, there will be one, and he could sign very quickly. I think you hear the name Jair Alexander and you expect, again, how much is it going to take? Might be a lot more modest than people currently are forecasting.
Couple of rookies here.
Both our mics are off, okay.
One of you say something.
What a couple of rookies. That is, sometimes people put something one way and it kind of brings it home. He's just as likely to play as not play. So yeah, that's been the problem for him. So for our listeners, 2022, I'll say this, when he's healthy, he's good. But 2022, he played in 16 games. And then the last 2 years, he's played in 7. And then, the year before that, he played in only 4. So he started off his career, with 13 games, 16 games, 15 games. Everything's good, right? And in those years, he had, 4 interceptions, which for corners, when typically safeties, that's where you're getting a lot of your interceptions, and corners, unless you're playing inside, you don't have a whole lot of opportunities, but, as far as defensive backs go. But, so, if you're able to do that, I'm kind of encouraged by that in case the Seahawks do like him, that, maybe he won't come with such a high price tag, right?
Yeah. I think he'd be good as a starter here.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, again, I think John Schneider probably has a little bit more insight into him just because of his connection with the Green Bay Packers. And, you speak the same language as far as evaluation goes. It'll be interesting if there's something that's really special about him that would make the Seahawks sign him.
Sweeping the dial.
MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred was on Golic and Golic, and he discussed prioritizing moving the ABS system, the automated ball strike system, up to MLB next season.
The consistency that this system would produce in terms of calling balls and strikes, I think will be helpful in terms of player performance. If you know where the pitch is going to be and there's real consistency to it, only the consistency that technology can produce, I think that's a good thing for the game. And I think particularly in high leverage situations, fans deserve to see a system where a bad call can be corrected. You hate to see a game decided based on a bad ball strike call, and the challenge system that we tested in spring training will correct that. So I think it holds real promise in terms of being appealing and important to our fans and making the game better.
What was the stipulation for when you can use, or you only get like 2 challenges or something?
Oh, yeah, you get a certain number. I remember we saw it during spring training, and it's only the pitcher or the catcher or the batter. So it's not anyone else. And then I'm sure there would be new rules that get implemented if they bring it up to MLB during the regular season. But, yeah, you remember we saw it during spring training. It's very quick. You just tap your helmet. They do the review. They show what happens. What's been funny is now players have kind of shown up umps. In fact, Taylor Walls of the Rays got ejected because he didn't agree with the call. He started tapping his helmet, the sign of like, no, review it, like showing up the ump, because you obviously can't review it in a regular season game.
Right.
Got ejected for that.
For
got
doing
thrown
that.
out of the game, yeah.
Oh,
because the
what a
umps
bunch of
thought he
crap.
was showing him up. You know what? You look at last night specifically, that home plate umpire was terrible
Yes.
for both teams too.
Right.
It's not like it was Mariners slanted or it
Yeah.
helped one team more than the other. He
was equally bad
all around. Equally bad, but it was impactful because it's an extra inning game. So I would be all for doing this, for moving it up to MLB next season.
But there is a number, right, of how many you can do.
I think there's like 3 per game.
But why? I mean,
Right.
like, let's say that it is a high leverage.
I think they don't want like every time.
Yeah, but
we
listen,
stopped,
what if it's a high leverage game that the winner of this game gets into the World Series and I can't call for a review
I guess it's
because
strategy.
I'd already used them up.
Yeah, well, it's like the NFL. You don't get unlimited reviews. So
Yeah.
even if you keep getting them right. So I think that would be, hey, they don't want a batter to be showing up an umpire every single inning. That would slow it down. But, say you get 3 and maybe there's a close call in the first inning with no one on, you don't use it. If there's that same call in the 9th, perhaps you do. So there'd be some strategy.
Well, like you said, though, I mean, it's not taking up a whole bunch of time
No,
in
it really
baseball.
doesn't.
And the reviews and everything in the NFL it does take a while. But, I don't know. I wonder if 10 years from now we're going to look back and go, I can't believe we had umpires just basically, using their best judgment.
Sweeping the dial.
Peter Schrager this morning on Get Up made kind of a surprising pick for a team a quarterback on a new team who he believes will have the best season.
Comeback player of the year.
Tell me more.
If he's going to win that starting job, and I think he's got a very good offense in Indianapolis and a fresh new place with a fresh new start. It's going to be him and Anthony Richardson, who's dealing with an injury right now. Jones is going to have the leg up in that competition coming in because of that. And I believe that he and Shane Steichen might be able to put together a season in what I believe is a watered-down AFC South after Houston. This guy could be the one that we're talking about, like we talked about with Darnold last year.
That'd be Daniel Jones. I guess I should clarify there.
Oh, okay.
The new Colts backup, he had been with the Giants forever, and now Anthony Richardson's hurt. We talked about that last week. So Daniel Jones.
He thinks Danny Dimes.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys. I mean, I feel like now that this whole transformation happened with Sam Darnold, that maybe, now people are starting to value players like that. Go, hey, and I think a lot of coaches and executives have big egos, and they're like, I can turn him around. Oh, I just need to get him over here, and we'll coach him up, and we'll turn him into the superstar that he should be. But yeah, that would be interesting. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like you are who you are, and although, I mean, who's another couple? Baker Mayfield, his season in Tampa Bay, and then Dopey in Detroit, right?
He's
Who
going
else?
to text in now, Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll think about it.
Somebody will
during
say
the break.
F-U, Jared Goff.
Yeah,
Sign Jared
you,
Goff.
Wyman, from Jared Goff. We'll get El Hombre's thoughts on quarterbacks around the league, and then I'm sure he has a pretty strong opinion about what's going on in college sports, the new House settlement, how that changes college athletics for the near future and beyond. So we'll catch up with El Hombre up next here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Seahawks head coach Mike McDonald, exclusively with Brock and Salk.
Your cohort, Mr. Schneider, talked a lot this offseason about pivoting. How was all of that?
It's kind of how we operate. You're looking at the lens of what we're trying to build, what's going to be best for us. I know it seemed like a lot, but we had time kind of behind the scenes here. And I thought we ended up with a team we're really excited about. The guys that are here are fired up for.
Watch the full conversation on the Seattle Sports YouTube page or get the podcast on the Seattle Sports app.
Are you worried about economic conditions, tariffs, and inflation? Are you tired of trying to time the stock market? Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given current market volatility. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Hi, I'm Scott Rurecka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years with zero investor losses, averaging double-digit returns since inception, and we also accept IRAs. Over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Feeling uneasy? Don't gamble your hard-earned money or risk your retirement. Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited openings for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
This is Secret Clinical dominating extra stinky stress sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat. Let's run another marathon. And regular deodorant. How much more? Secret is the GOAT. Because nothing fights sweat better. Stay fresher under pressure.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Headed to the ballpark? Skip the traffic jams, parking fees, and the stress of driving. Make riding transit part of your game day ritual. Roll in with your crew, talk stats, and meet fans. No traffic, no stress. Community Transit riders enjoy seamless connections to light rail and ferries to get to Seattle and beyond. And youth 18 and under ride the bus for free. All in for the win. Plan your trip with Community Transit at ctgo.org/homerun.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. This is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and home value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in the Puget Sound. Call 8-333-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Smoked paprika in your go-to goulash? That's go-go goulash. Sometimes a different way is the better way. Like the SR 509 Expressway, an alternate route that'll help manage congestion and provide better access to SeaTac. Open soon, free through summer.
Ooma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
Right now, get a $15 gift card after rebate with the purchase of select AC Pro refrigerant products at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners have recalled Logan Evans. He gets the start tonight, Game 2 against the Diamondbacks, 6:40 first pitch, 5:30 pregame coverage right here on Seattle Sports. In the corresponding move, they put Bryce Miller on the IL And an update about an hour ago from Tim Booth, the Seattle Times. He said that Bryce Miller met with Dr. Keith Meister and will receive a PRP injection in his elbow, so shut down for at least 2 weeks from throwing, and then Miller could be activated in 4 to 6 weeks if all goes well, according to Tim Booth. Meanwhile, the Seahawks have signed Michael Dixon to a 4-year, $16.2 million contract extension, making him the highest-paid punter in the NFL. And a number of star players are holding out around NFL minicamps, including Jalen Ramsey, T.J. Watt, Trey Hendrickson, and Terry McLaurin.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
Yeah, you know what you can get me, Pee-wee? What? El hombre.
That was a catastrophe.
I know.
That's a new low. Roz is better.
El hombre.
The natural meets Rudy meets. I don't even know how to describe it.
El hombre.
Well, it's funny to hear that from Michael Bradley, El Hombre, Dave, and we're sitting here looking at a picture of the Graz right now. Michael, we're down at Seahawks training camp, and they have a room kind of honoring one Dave Wyman and Dave Crosby here down to the facility.
That's outstanding, and it's amazing that even when Stelton's not there, Dave doesn't get to do the updates.
Doesn't get to? You mean doesn't have to?
Isn't allowed to.
I guess, yeah, we should have, just for the sake of hilarity again.
The professionalism is just not there. And you know what?
I get it.
I stay in my lane.
Isn't it your dishwashing strategy? You do it so poorly that then they just take it over for you.
Oh yeah, no, that's right. You laundry. What you do is you play your way out of the game, basically. So, all I have to do is turn my wife's a couple of her her clothing pink or whatever, something that's white. You play your way out of a job, basically.
So I can't do that. I've got too much. I don't know. I guess I'm psychotic, but anything I do, even if it's laundry, I won't throw the game. I got to do it well. I drive myself nuts that way, but I'm the launderer in our house.
You know what? I think that I subconsciously this wasn't anything that I actually planned, but I really did play my way out of kickoff return. Kickoff return sucked so bad. I mean, okay, so you run back 15 to 20 yards, and then you turn around, and here comes a guy who's trying to make the team and, trying to, prove how good of a player he is. And he's either going to run you over or make you look stupid. And I remember the last kickoff return I was on, I went over to the pile where my guy had just crushed the returner, and he was on the bottom of the pile going, ow, ow. And I'm like, okay, I think that's going to do it. And sure enough.
And the guy who's running down the field that you got to block is like 6'4", 210 pounds. He's 23 years old, and he's made out of granite.
Exactly.
And right, he's going to launch himself like a missile at you.
Hey, Michael, we were just talking about the House settlement. So now that it's set to go into effect July 1st, college athletes will be directly paid from their schools. What do you think happens with college sports over the next 5 to 10 years?
5 to 10 years, I think we start to see the Power 4 schools begin to move even further away from everybody else. I mean, the money is going to, the salary cap, quote unquote, is going to go up 4% for a couple of years, and they're going to reassess. It's going to keep going up, and that's going to price the mid-majors and the low majors out of the acquisition of any talent that's worthwhile. And they're all going to get some young guys come in who are good that nobody knows about, and then within a year or two, they'll be gone too. So they're going to become glorified junior colleges. The Big East, everybody says, because they're such a good basketball conference, they're going to have a seat. They'll still have some influence. But, and it's like they have the best seat at the kids' table because it's all about football. And there was a proposal put forth by the Power 4 that their votes would be anywhere from 51 to 65% of the total Division I votes, which have like 350 schools in them. So they're trying to get even more legislative capability, and they'll keep doing that. So I wouldn't be surprised if by the year 2035 we've got ourselves, at least for football, a super conference. And then with the NCAA tournament, you're going to see the automatic bids for maybe 20 to 25 of the conferences, Sun Belt, Mid-American, MEAC, all of them, they'll be combined. So they'll take like 24 and they'll go to 12, and those schools will play each other ahead of time. So the days of the St. Peter's knocking off Kentucky are going to go away because the big schools want more spots in the main tournament because you get $2 million right now per you're going to get a little less because of the settlement, but $2 million per appearance, per win, and they want that money to go to themselves, not to the smaller schools.
Do you ever think that, like, maybe some of these teams well, I'll tell you a quick story. I got to know Tyrone Willingham pretty well because he was the head coach at Stanford, and he did a really good job there. So he gets hired away by Notre Dame. And the reason why Stanford wouldn't match that, and this is just what I heard, it makes sense to me, but what I heard was that there was no way they were going to pay him, the head coach of football, more than the president at Stanford. And so, it just kind of indicates that, that's not their priority. But I wonder if down the road that like a school like Stanford that's known for its academics and everything, that they possibly could just dump their football program or just their athletic programs just in general. I mean, it's kind of very cloudy how this thing is going to play out over time, but I'm curious if you've, kind of thought about some of these academic schools that are just like, we can't compete, so why don't we, just cut our athletic programs?
Well, a very good friend of mine has said, why isn't there a school, a conference that includes Stanford, Duke, Rice, Vanderbilt, Northwestern, Tulane, Army, Navy, Air Force, take Boston College maybe, you take the top big school programs and put them in a league where everybody's got the same academic mission. I mean, what the heck is Vanderbilt doing in the SEC anyway? I mean, that's insanity. Their mission is 180 degrees away from Alabama. So to me, I agree with you. It's possible that happens. What you may see, if tournament access, if championship access gets cut for the mid-majors and the low majors, you're going to see a lot of schools do what St. Francis in Pennsylvania did. They get to the NCAA tournament, and afterwards they say, we're going D3. You're going to have to spend too much money to try to be competitive. They don't have it. They don't have it. And so I think we're going to see the real – I just wrote an article about this for Philadelphia Magazine. I submitted it yesterday. I spoke to 29 people in all – it's a future of college sports in Philadelphia. So all the local schools, talked to agents, I talked to players, I talked to people in the NIL world, talked to academics who specialize in this stuff. And none of them was able to say with any certainty what was going to happen, but every one of them said the smaller schools are going to get screwed.
Yeah.
Michael, do you think anything more could stem from this? I'm just kind of thinking, all right, we've seen athletes now in college 6 to 7 years because they got that COVID stipulation, because of red shirts. And now when you're making literally millions of dollars, would an athlete or a group try to challenge eligibility requirements of saying, look, you're depriving us a fair wage? So could eligibility requirements go out the window now?
Yeah, well, they've already started that. I mean, the junior college 2 years doesn't count anymore. Yeah. I mean, theoretically, you can go to a junior college for 2 years and then play 4 years of Division I basketball. You're seeing some people this year who are trying to get a fifth year of eligibility in basketball who have no chance of going to the NBA, and they're saying, well, hell, I can make $350,000 this year with a fifth year. And so they're trying to get fifth years. They're appealing to the NCAA. So it's already started. What really needs to happen, and it's going to be incredibly difficult to do, is to have collective bargaining between the players and the schools. But then the players have to become employees. It goes into what are their benefits? Do they get the opportunity to be get workman's comp if they get hurt? It opens a huge thing. But you're seeing that the NCAAs, like Major League Baseball owners, were from 65 to 85, where they lost every single time. And the NCAA is losing every single time in court. And so it's going to be tough for the players to do it because it could take 2-3 years for a court case to get through. And by that time, these guys are done. But, yeah, I mean, the athletes are going to try to get more and more money. And I don't blame them.
Hey, Michael, the ABS system, I just wonder if now, I mean, if they adopt that And the thing is, like with the replays, we were talking about this, Mike, the replays in the NFL, most of the reason why you only get a few challenges or whatever is because it makes the game longer, right? The ABS thing is pretty instantaneous. So, but, as far as like having, only so many reviews or whatever, it doesn't take that much more time to get every single one right. And so, I don't know, I just wonder if like 10 years from now, we're going to look back and go, what an injustice that was that, this is a strike when it's clearly a ball to everybody else and anybody watching television. But I don't know. I mean, to me, that one doesn't bother me too much just because I think they can get it done very quickly, and it's not like it's making the game drag out.
Well, this is just the next step to the inevitable, which is going to be we say robo-umps. There will still be a human being behind home plate. Right. That man will not, however, be calling balls and strikes. He will be told whether it's a ball or strike, and then he will say ball or strike, but it's not his decision. And for all of you human element people out there, your argument is ridiculous, because if someone's running a race against somebody else and that person wins, and the person at the finish line judging the race says, no, you lost. It's human element. Sorry, I was wrong, but you lost the race. No, now we have photo finishes because we don't want to have human element messing things up. Right. If it's a ball, it's a ball. If it's a strike, it's a strike. It shouldn't be the human element. We have protests for safe and out. We have, in NFL, is it a catch or not? So inevitably, we're going to get to the point where, the box that you see on television, if the ball's in it, it's a strike. If it's not, it's a ball, no matter what the umpire says.
Yeah. Now, what do you think happens, though, with the umpires? Because for some reason they have just been immune to scrutiny, because I know they have such a strong union, or their collective bargaining process has kept them exempt from any kind of public accountability. They don't have to go face the media after games. How do you think they might push back on this?
Oh, well, how do you think? More money. Simple. We're going to do less work and get more money.
Okay.
And that's what Major League Baseball will do. There will still be 4-man crews. There will still be 6-man crews in the All-Star game, in the playoffs and World Series, and everybody will still be able to do what they're doing. Look, I was at the Phillies game last night. At one point, the hitter swung and went across home plate when he swung and missed, and impeded the catcher's ability to throw down to second base to catch a base runner, and they sent the base runner back to first base. You still need the human being to do that. You still need the human being to call safe and out. You still need the human being to determine whether there was catcher's interference. Did he move the glove up that hurt the swing? They still have stuff to do, and they're going to still be the ones saying strike or ball. If you don't like it, find another line of work. They'll pay them a little more, give them an extra couple days of vacation, and maybe they'll bring 4 more umpires in so there's more more personnel. I don't know, but Major League Baseball is going to say, if you don't like it, we'll break your union, because now we'll automate everything, so you don't have to do anything.
Hey, Michael, I was watching a compilation this morning of some of the best catches, and one of them was, I don't know if you saw that, Denzel Clark catch.
How do you not? It's on everything. It was on the television at the supermarket. I mean, are you kidding me?
I mean, the guy almost went over the fence himself. And but anyway, they had like 5 of the top catches. One of them was, I think it's Kevin Mitchell, where it was from a long time ago, but he bare hands it, like he
runs into the left field corner and bare hands it. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. I think that, and sometimes the throw from the outfield to me is very awesome. What's your favorite baseball play?
I will say that kind of catch. I mean, did they have the Jim Edmonds one where he's running with his back to home plate and then flat out dove and caught it over his shoulder?
Like a receiver catching a...
Yeah, that's one of the most amazing ones.
Yeah.
That's, a big home run. Aaron Judge hit one today already against Kansas City that went like 790 yards or something, whatever. When he hits the ball, it's different, and the ball's usually flat where he hits it afterwards. But, a home run's great. A triple's fun. But that kind of defensive play, and the one last night, we see college things, where they got like a 4-foot fence and the guy runs and catches it and falls over. That's amazing. But this guy climbed the fence, put the foot up, caught it over his shoulder, and as you said, almost fell, and he would have fallen 10 feet. So
Yeah.
he really, you talk about risking. Now, he's a rookie, so he doesn't know any better. But still, to have that ability, that spatial ability to say, I'm going to go here, I'm going to get up, I'm going to catch it, that's astounding. So that kind of stuff stays with you.
Also, the fearlessness.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
I mean.
Well, that's, again, he's about 22 or 23. But, the brain still isn't completely developed.
That's
and
right.
the part that isn't completely developed is the frontal lobe, which handles decision-making. So,
Yeah.
I'm going to run full on and try to jump over a fence.
Isn't that what you tell your students, that they don't have fully developed brains? I thought you said that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I said, then when you throw idiot juice in on top of that, that's not a good combination.
Oh, good stuff. Michael, good stuff as always. Thank you. We appreciate the time, and we'll talk to you next week.
So long, suckers.
You did it this
I got to say, I've never heard that one.
What?
Idiot
Idiot
juice. That is good.
Do you remember last week he hung up on himself?
Yeah.
I was waiting to see how that went. There is Michael Bradley, El Hombre, with us every Tuesday.
That catch was phenomenal. But, yeah, and there is some fearlessness that goes into that maybe, 5 years from now he doesn't make that play. But that was so entertaining. He was talking about the Edmonds one. And all of them were from, like, a while ago. But, yeah, I mean, a catch like that, especially up against the wall, and the fearlessness, we were talking about, him not worrying about getting hurt, but it's kind of a Robles thing too, right?
Yeah,
Robles
yeah,
just,
fearlessness.
yeah. But yeah, I thought maybe the most entertaining one though was the Kevin Mitchell one, because he's ranging over. He puts his left hand glove up and then just realized, oh, it's going over here. So he just bare hand catches it.
I need to show you. There is one from this year that probably is too new to make your montage. Dalton Varsho for the Blue Jays returned after being out. He falls down in center field and then still makes like a no-look catch.
Oh.
That's one of the most unbelievable ones I've ever seen. So I'll show you that in a few minutes here. But we do have some news, Dave, before we turn you over to Mariners pregame coverage beginning at 5:30 here on Seattle Sports. Game 2 of the series against the Diamondbacks. It's going to be a big one. It's Logan Evans pitching tonight. It was supposed to be Brian Wu, but after the game last night, Dan Wilson said Logan Evans is going to start tomorrow, which is tonight. The Mariners have activated him. They put Bryce Miller on the IL, and we got an update about an hour ago from Tim Booth of the Seattle Times. He says Bryce Miller is going to be shut down from throwing, so not doing anything, for 2 weeks, getting a PRP injection, and then could be available for activation in 4 to 6 weeks. So after those 2 weeks, he'll start throwing again. I'm sure there'll be a rehab assignment or two this time out. Logan Gilbert is making his third rehab start tonight for Tacoma. So some injury news that maybe has slowed down the optimism around this pitching staff. But what do you think about when you hear that with Bryce Miller, that now shut down for a more significant portion of time than just the 15 days?
I get all the hand-wringing over Bryce Miller, certainly, but we just haven't seen that from him this year. So it's not like you're missing anything. I mean, really everything about Bryce Miller was expectation, and a lot of it during spring training, of course. But now, you're putting a guy up there that Logan Evans, 2 of his last 3 outings, and they are games in which the team won, because I know we don't do that. But he had quality starts, and so the last outing against Washington, 8 innings. He gave up 1 earned run, which was a home run, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. So now, was that just rookie luck or whatever? I mean, this was his 6th outing so far this year. But yeah, I mean, 2 of the last 3 starts were quality starts, and I know he looks good. So yeah, to me, and that's again goes back to what JP said about starting pitching. It's just kind of a head scratcher for me, but yeah, I think the priority is definitely a bat. But who's the guy from the big tall kid, the fielder from Washington, the Nationals? Is it Wood?
Oh yeah,
James Wood.
James Wood. I was like, I forgot all about the Nationals. Seems like a month ago.
They had him and I think it was Abrams was the other player.
CJ Abrams. Yep.
Yeah, they
got
were
them both for Soto too.
Huh?
They got them both in the Soto.
Oh, that's
trade,
right. They
so,
both were from San Diego.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's right. Yeah, those 2 guys were on MLB Central this morning. I don't know why I brought that up. It was just.
Well, that was the last start. Yeah.
It was kind of cool to see because James Wood looks like the guy like he's half asleep all the time. But yeah, I mean that Washington series started off with a 9-1 win, and that was looking pretty good. But that was the outing from Logan Evan. It was very impressive, and that's a pretty good offensive team, actually.
I would say going and extrapolating over the course of the entire season, the potential worry would be inning workload of Logan Evans. So say he does have to be your fifth starter the entire season. He's never pitched close to what now, I don't even know, extrapolating out 20 plus more starts would be or something around those lines. If you're going to have him pitch for another, 3 months at least. So you know how careful the Mariners are with their pitchers that are young. They dealt with this with Bryce Miller his first year and Brian Wu. They gradually build up. So I guess long term, if he does have to pitch the entire season, that would be the only concern. But you're right. He has gotten better every subsequent start. So a lot of optimism around Logan Evans. He had those 2 6-inning outings. The one in San Diego was just incredibly huge to go against the Padres, to see him do that. And then Washington tonight. So we will see. Dave, we know it's a pretty important one tonight in Game 2 against the Diamondbacks. So
we got to keep that team from hitting their 94th bomb. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But,
Naylor envy. I have Naylor envy.
Yeah. First baseman who can hit.
Yeah. That will pretty much do it. Hey, fun time here at Seahawks minicamp. A lot of fun with you out here today, Dave. We saw day 1 of Seahawks minicamp, and we got to talk to a lot of fun people. Boye Mafe joined us in here. Big thanks to him. John Morosi, Jacob Green, your old teammate. That was a lot of fun catching up with him. Hearing some Dave Wyman stories. That's been the best part of that. And El Hombre. So if you missed any of those conversations, go to our Seattle Sports website or our YouTube page, Wyman and Bob. You can find everything there. We'll be back tomorrow after the Mariners day game. But until then, Mariners pregame coverage comes up next right here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
It's the Seahawks' only minicamp of the offseason, and Seattle Sports is there.
Always a fun conversation. Julian Love.
You see Eagles flying around, you can't beat it.
Live from the sidelines, all day today, with Bump and Stacy live from VMAC beginning at 10 a.m.
Seahawks wide receiver Cooper Kupp. Does it feel weird to hear still?
Yeah, I'm getting used to it.
Followed by Wyman and Bob at 2, all the way up to Mariners pregame at 5:30. We are the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports on 710 in the Seattle Sports app.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here from my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Get 0% financing for 72 months on Cat compact construction equipment at NC Machinery. Built for performance, durability, and comfort. Buy now and take advantage of 0% financing for 72 months at NC Machinery.
When you switch to Progressive and bundle your home and auto, you could save hundreds, and that's a surprising amount of money.
Whoa, that's like farmer's market money.
That's like give me a gallon of that locally sourced raw honey money.
That's certified organic heirloom tomatoes in every imaginable color except red money.
That's let's get 2 pounds of pink oyster mushrooms money. I'm not even sure I like pink oyster mushrooms.
Guess it's time to find out, because you could save hundreds when you switch to Progressive and bundle. Then the world is your pink oyster mushroom. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
This is Secret Clinical dominating extra stinky stress sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat. Let's run another marathon. And regular deodorant. How much more? Secret is the GOAT. Because nothing fights sweat better.
Stay fresher under pressure.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
I love a day on the water with friends, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis sometimes holds me back. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy.
Teaching music is my passion, but my active psoriatic arthritis can limit me at times. Now I'm treating my joint symptoms with Skyrizi.
With Skyrizi, most people with plaque psoriasis saw 90% clearer skin at 4 months.
Or if you are an adult with active psoriatic arthritis, Skyrizi helps you move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
There's nothing like clearer skin.
There's nothing like better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. This is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and home value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in the Puget Sound. Call 8-333-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.